Yes, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're still here. Tim the King, the only throw, and Peter Serite, the money guy. We're going to talk money. Yes, so we're still talking about his journey to becoming a chartered accountant. And he did it in record time. That is amazing. One of the youngest people, right?
Nah, we're younger people. I'll show you.
You know? What is the average age for one to become a chartered accountant?
27 if it's record time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, because ideally, the logic is you would have done 18 you're in matric, and then you start your 7-year journey.
Sure.
All the way 26, then you're done with your articles. 27, then you become a member. So more or less. So pretty much, I guess I did it at the expected age. You know?
Sure.
Nothing shocking. The people that do it at 25, I mean, the people at 23. Then it starts getting shocking. That dude, where you from?
When do you graduate?
The Chinese and Indian guys.
Yeah, you're like, 21. But then you start realizing, this person, they kind of, it's just been weird the whole way, you know?
Yeah, so that is true. So let's talk about now the exciting part about your journey to becoming a chartered accountant.
Okay, so now let's start by painting the picture that, think about it this way. I'm leaving Polokwane, whatever you want to call it, right?
Sure.
It's 2008. I just got my matric results. Literally from school, I got my statement. Mom had already given me money to go straight. I'm going straight to UJ. I ain't stopping nowhere. I ain't even getting ice cream, man. We're going to UJ. They need them results, you know? I'm just happy to be leaving home.
Sure.
So then there I am on the road. I'm heading there. So in my mind, a lot of things were not also spelled out because I didn't grow up in Joburg. I didn't know what Joburg was about.
Sure.
You're going to this big back city. People die. People come back having not completed the article. People come back as junkies. So there's a lot that's going through my mind. But again, it boils down to that passion. So now, for all interest and sake, let's call that passion money.
Money, yeah.
Right. So for me, it was an issue that I had to now quantify to say, when I come back, I need to have X.
Sure.
In B and C, right? So that means from the moment I landed in Joburg, that's another story. My friends will tell you it was quite, because I got mugged that very same day. Now that's registration money, that's deposit for my accommodation.
Hey.
So it would be easy for my mom to say, come back home, yes, you tried.
Yeah. Day one.
Yeah.
Conroll.
So I wasn't even going to tell her.
This is not for
is not for everyone.
Just come back
It's
home.
a sign. It's a sign. So I wasn't even going to tell her. So it was an issue now. I'm telling my brother, Mom gave me money, but top me up. I'm trying to raise funds. I'm already Joburg.
Yeah.
CBD at that time. I was at a garage, I remember. But the one thing that kept me going was, as long as I can get my student card, get into that university, because at the time UJ, and still is, was still one of the best. So UJ was known for now producing a lot of black CAs.
Sure.
At the time, and still is now. I mean, now there are other universities that have got it accredited, but UJ is still a good university if I had to recommend it.
Sure.
So now that meant, from accommodation, having to learn languages. Now it's a Betty boy coming to Joburg. You get you, they're talking a different language, okay?
Of course.
Different friends, you know, different lifestyle altogether.
Yeah.
But even then, that's where now the values, your character as a person kind of start honing you in. Because there will be things that kind of to fro. Yesterday I was talking with some of my guys about a friend of a guy we studied with. In the first quarter, what thing that happened, it's a very, very interesting story. So he met a girl, and this girl happened to be the chief's youngest daughter. Some chief from some place down there, I don't want to say where. So I guess love happened, and in the first quarter, they were expecting. So now she was about a month or 2. And you're like, okay, this is now weird, you know?
Yeah.
And when we then came back from that quarter, he ain't coming back. When we then finding out was that, no, he had to go work. That was it. So that was the last of it. Yeah. Like, my man, you're clearly doing adult stuff, so not go get a job.
So go be an adult.
Yeah. So even stuff like that. Even now, you would be easily get caught in. Same as the party, same as the fast life of Gauteng.
Sure.
Yeah, we were tempted by it, sure. Especially given that when I came to Gauteng, I was a musician. So I had friends that were playing live music. I'd go to gigs. I mean, was the temptations there? Sure. But that purpose, in this case, let's call it the money, kept on pushing me to realize that, nah, dude, just because you had a couple of drinks with friends from 8 to 10 doesn't excuse you from your 50 hours.
Of course.
You still need to do your graph time.
Still need to.
And that's the consistency. That kept it going. That kept it going, yeah.
So you spoke about getting robbed, getting mugged on day one.
Day one. Of many, I must add.
On day one, upon arrival. I mean, if I were to think about it, my man, and put myself in your shoes, or anyone else, I'm pretty sure we would have just said, you know what, this didn't work out. Just like you said, even when you call home, they were going to say, you tried, my man. You know what, you know? So
Call your mom was going crazy. I almost died.
You know.
I'm coming back home, send money. I almost died.
But now I hear you talk about doing the same accounting work again before you even develop the passion, because now this is before you're the second year that you develop the passion for accounting.
Yeah.
But already you were doing the work of an accountant, trying to put together money left, right, and center.
Yeah.
So that means that has been innate in you, basically. Or this is maybe it's from the passion for money.
Yeah.
They didn't want to give up. Like, hey, going back home.
No.
Yeah. You're like, top 10 things I'm going to do when I get home.
So
Chill.
How much money did you? How much money did you need to put together?
So at the time, I mean, no, this was 2009, just before the World Cup.
2009, yeah.
So that was another reason.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, I can't be in the Congo during the World Cup. I want to be with you.
Yeah. And that's
But we'll get to
action.
that. So I need about 6,000. Because you had now about, at the time, I mean, my figures might be off, but we needed about 4,000 for the registration,
Oh,
and
registration,
I think
yeah.
2,000 something for then the race.
Yeah.
So in my mind, because I had already promised the parents at home that I'm going to stay in race, but I'm like, race for what? You know, I can't leave all the way home to go into another type of home. What you mean? So I was okay to do without the other 2,000.
Sure.
For me, the target was, let's register, what?
Yeah.
Let's get you in the system, get an access card, be able to walk those streets of Auckland Park.
Yeah.
That was the target.
That was the target. And you managed. You
Yeah.
did what you could.
Yeah, and I mean, at the time, to say, coming from this entrepreneurial background, it wasn't a big task. I
Sure.
mean, I used to play already. We used to play these guys at weddings. You know, get to the weddings, it's hot. But they
Yeah.
by the corner in the tent, there'd be a band.
Yeah.
I was one of those guys for years, you know.
So you knew the struggle.
You know, you'd get to funerals and there'd be speakers at the graveside. You don't know where they're plugged. I would have made that stuff happen.
You made
know.
it happen.
So I mean, at the time I had about 2 speakers. It was 2 tops and probably 1 bass band that I would rent it out. And I mean, at the time I would be making 300 per event. You'd be lucky if you get a young pastor that wants to go a crusade for the whole week. That's 300. I'm sorted, you know.
Yeah.
So you there were avenues.
Sure.
And that's what I'm saying, that the entrepreneurial journey, the chartered accountancy only complemented it.
Okay.
Even without it, I would have still been me. You know, and that is where it should show anyone that it's not really what wraps it. Being a chartered accountant doesn't define it.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
Same as someone being a lawyer. It's who you are. These things are nice to have, but they're not who we are.
They're not who we are. That is beautiful. That is beautifully said. Even though we saying that that's not who we are, you're not defined by all of that.
It's nice to have, dude.
It's nice to have. And on top of that, you have a few accolades under your belt.
Yeah.
The Nedbank CA Challenge.
Yeah.
There's the Investec CA Pathfinder program.
That was a good one.
And I don't know how to say this. Is it SAICA or is it SAICA?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, SAICA. That's what I wanted to say. So the SAICA top 35 or under 35.
Yeah. So
yes, let's talk about achieving those.
okay, so I guess maybe let's start with the Nedbank one, because that would be the
Yes.
first one, right? So that happened, 2012. I was then in my second or third year of varsity. That's after the talk. I had with myself, like, dude, we gotta be serious. Boom. We're doing this. Let's show them what we're made of.
What year was that? 2010?
2012.
11.
No, I had the chat with myself in I started 2019, 11. I had the chat with myself now in 2012. So I'm fully in third year now. Things are getting serious now, you know. It's no longer account 3, it's account 300. As if from 3 to 300. Trust you. They mean it. They mean it. So at that time, there was this competition running. So I also needed to prove something to myself. I guess that was pretty much the first competition I entered. I needed to prove something to myself to say, am I really here because I got lucky here and there? Or is it purely because I am good at what I say I am?
Sure.
So we got in there. It was a nice competition. I mean, there were rules. You had to come up with a program, a project that's sustainable in a community, blah, blah, that can run itself.
Sure.
Yeah, and they give you a budget. There's a cash prize and an iPhone.
Yeah.
And I think it was an iPad or something like this. And you get to go on holiday. There was some crazy prizes. So for me, I was like, again, the money. I was like, dude. You know? So we went in. And it was a nice project along the way, man, because I got to meet some guys from Stellenbosch. I got to meet guys from Cape Town. That's when now I started interacting with guys and understanding what the profession was about. Because the reality of it is, by the time someone like me that couldn't even fathom what a CA was up until I saw one here in Joburg, guys that grew up in families where that was the first time I met someone that's a third generation CA. I didn't even know what that is. That means his great grandfather was a CA before CAs were.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't know what to
Really
call.
big family.
Yeah, stuff like that. Where someone grows up in that environment where they're molded. Already at 3 years, mom, dad, CA, big brother's a CA. We already have practice. So you're a disgrace if you fail.
Of course.
Yeah, they can disown you. So it's those stuff now when you start meeting such people, it broadens your horizon. Okay, needless to say, I mean, I had a pretty dope idea at the time. So what I was doing, you see these guys, I don't want to call them Anke. These guys that take the empty from the bins, go recycle them, take the empty whatnot. In the morning, they're pulling those talikis.
Sure.
They're there just before they collect the bins. So we did a research. I mean, at the time, my sister was helping me and a couple of friends. And we got sort of a company that can remodel the wheels. So when it's empty, they can actually ride on it like a skateboard, meaning the steel had to be very, very light.
Oh, so basically what we've seen, because I've seen a lot of those videos.
Yeah.
These guys.
So we changed those casters.
Yeah.
That was our claim to fame. So because normally the ones they got were the ones from the trolleys. And then those ones on actual tar, they wouldn't even last the day.
They don't last
because
long.
the trolley ones are done to it's trolley in the
just
shop.
on the shop, on the tiles, on the floors.
So our brothers would manage to get their hands on the pick and pay trolley. How, I don't know. I don't ask. And for some odd reason, they'll get the wheels and put it on that thing so that they can roll it. And it will break. So that means even in the morning when he has to go about 10 kilos to where the bins are, he's walking slowly. But just by changing the casters and the platform to make it light steel, they can ride it like skateboard downhill, so it's lighter.
It's lighter.
And then
easier to ride.
And then what made it even dope is that if now there's a whole lot of stuff, those things had magnetic padding, so you guys can put them together and they'd stick. So you'd have a bigger platform to carry stuff.
That is how they extend it.
Yeah,
I take yours.
you get what I'm trying to say.
With yours and yours. Now I just have one.
So now all 4 or 5 of us can carry a whole lot more to go drop off. Then rather than me get my 200, he gets his 150. But as a bulk now, we get 1,000, 250, 250. What we do with it again, I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
You get what I'm trying to say. I played my part. I want my prize money, net bank. I'm not even here for jokes. So we kind of chased it. And the beautiful thing about it is that in my mind when I started it, it was a lovely project. But for me, I won the prize. Me and you for games. And as it was going on, and worst part, I already started promising people that doesn't Nzotenge iPhone, buy an iPhone. Buy an iPhone. See, what's the space?
Don't know me.
Bring this accounting thing, Baba. We're talking money now.
So then when we started, along the way, then we started meeting the suppliers that they actually go sell this stuff to. Then we managed, because of the backing we had, we negotiated that these guys come collect. So we're now cutting the distance. So these guys could do more and more. So I mean that project, we call it the South Deep. It went on for about 4, 5, 6 years without even our continued involvement. Literally, we dropped only 20 of them. Those guys were able to go reproduce, buy, because I mean this stuff, you're still buying your stuff, you're just changing a couple of stuff. Changing your casters. Now, to a guy that doesn't know, that hasn't been trained, he's stupid changing casters. I'll just go get another trolley from Pick and Pay. But he understands that in the AMs, trust you me, you'll understand why I have those casters. I'm gonna move faster than you. And I can pretty much get more space. So that was the first one, lovely part. So I mean, the nerve-wracking part was when we had to now present this to now the board and staff, and there were the finalists, so the top 5 now. Okay, so when I applied, I was like, okay, iPhone, and I forgot. And then boom, they call, okay, do you in the top 5? Oh, okay. So was that iPhone story serious?
Yeah.
Now I'm telling those people, you see that iPhone I was telling you about?
It's coming
I saw
soon.
it, I've ordered it.
coming
I've ordered it,
together,
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because for me, I almost was creating accountability for myself.
Of course.
Yeah. So we went into the first round, cool, saw the competition, it was dope. I mean, there was this lovely lady from Mitchell's Plain, I forgot her name, she had this amazing stuff, skills development, there was training stuff, people were already in AI 2012. Flip, I couldn't even wrap my head around it. People were talking about drones and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. That tells you the different type of schools and backgrounds people are from.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, because, I mean, it was a lovely project we did. And I was working with a brilliant team. We did win it. It was in the first year, so we did win it. And of course, the prizes that went along with it, you know.
You got your iPhone.
Yeah, you know. So that was now the NetBank one. So shortly after that, then I was actually then nominated for the Investec Winter School Program.
Okay.
So at the time, they used to call it Winter School. Now I think it's Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So what happens there? You guys are the top students from around South Africa, different universities. You know.
Okay.
You're gathered in one place, preferably at their offices, and you guys, what's nice, you stay at a hotel. Even if you're from Joburg, I was like, guys, but I'll come to the hotel. You stayed at the hotel, and the whole week you are at the bank. So they almost simulate a bank, and then they give you different roles in the bank. And then each day represents, I think, about a quarter in real time. So they simulate. So a day from 8 to 5. In the real world, it's a quarter. Around 2 people are striking. So there's a whole lot of stuff that happens in the economy that they would have created, and they're affecting the bank. So I can imagine if they had to run it this year, there would be a whole lot of COVID chaos happening.
Sure.
So you now need to make decisions in the bank, in your simulated bank. I mean, you're in different groups. At the time, I think we're about 8 in a group, and there's about 8 groups or something like that. So along the way, you get to interact. If you need to learn something more in the bank, you go find out from the head of lending, the head of credit. So that kind of taught me now the side of raising capital. And what a bank needs to consider: risk, collateral. Because now, again, coming from a black background, the last time you heard about collateral was when your parents had to now buy a house and they need to put something. You get what I'm trying to say? You never got to see it from the bank side. Because what business have you got doing that up until you now start engaging? You know? So it's a whole week of robustness. But again, as luck would have it, our team came out as the best bank, you know. And yeah, I mean, again, they got a couple of stuff. Awards there for being best team player, whatnot, speaker and stuff there. But it boils down to, I guess, my ability to also connect with people. You know, and again, it was an environment that's now full of aspiring CAs. I mean, some of those people, we're still friends up until this day. You believe it, we met about 2012, 2013, 8 years later. They still refer people for business to come to me. I still remember, okay, on this project, I need X. I'll give them a call. So that then started to building about this network. Because if you think about it, a lot of these, I don't want to say, but rich kids, let's put it that way, right? Would come up going to a good school, they already have the good social capital. On the other side, you're growing up, it's unfortunate that you're growing up where you'd love to build that social capital, but that social capital is not good for you. You're in the township, people are smoking, it's bad influence. So you now spend a lot of time as a loner. Well, people are building good network, good connections. People are knowing uncles of an uncle of an uncle that's the CEO of X. People are knowing auntie that's CFO of X. Meaning, if me and a white counterpart today had to raise 100 million, by lunchtime he would be far than what I could be.
Of course.
By purely being on WhatsApp. He can be on WhatsApp and talk to a couple of stuff. Mommy, yes, we've got this school assignment, we need X. No, I'll talk to your dad. Dad talks to your friend, boom.
Fundraising.
Yeah, whereas on a black kid, you need to go find where your daddy is first.
Of course.
There's some real stuff here.
This is legit stuff.
Before you can even get him to call his friend, you need to find him. And you find him, his friend is also probably as drunk as he is, or you get what I'm trying to say. So those are the social constructs that people tend to want to ignore, but they're there. They're there. And you needed to be deliberate. So that means you needed to realize that as a black person, I'm getting into varsity, these are the type of people, there's certain, some of them I need to start making as friends. Genuinely so, I need to care about them. You get what I'm saying? You're celebrating Diwali, I need to really care. Not even trying to, you need to build that social capital, because you will need it.
You need to,
For your academics, for business, for whatever it is. You know, so those just have been the different strokes of just going through that phase that we're just talking about of now, realizing that flip, you are getting awards, but why I was doing them? Because for me, entering every competition, I mean, here you guys are talking about pretty much the top 3 that would be my highlights. But if you had to look at then the roster, there is a mountain of them. Because the idea of it was to just meet people. I'm coming from a background where I didn't know no millionaires that are under the age of 19, except now Forex is doing some stuff, but it's a story for another day, you know.
A story for another day.
But you see, there wasn't that reference. Even tenders, they weren't even popular when we started.
They weren't.
You know, so now you needed to get yourself out there, get out of the cocoon. You know, I mean, from there we did work at the Big Four. I mean, I always tell people that by the time I actually started working, every holiday I ensured that I actually go volunteer at one of the Big Four. All 4 of them. So by the time I needed to choose where I was going, I knew exactly, okay, that one I like it because of this. That one I like it because of that. That one I don't, you know. I already knew what I was talking about. And no one was going to sit you down and talk about it.
And talk about those things, of course.
You know. So you had to now sit yourself down. And I guess for me it was this drive, because I always ask myself the question every Monday morning was that, how much am I making an hour today? And how much do I need to be making an hour to live the life I want to live? So I've always brought it down to the per hour rate.
Per hour, yeah.
What is my charge out rate? So if I'm doing something, now that was bad because now on a Friday you want to grab a couple of cold ones, and you're thinking, how much am I making an hour? And you realize I'm losing money.
I'm actually not making right now. Taking this time out, and I'm taking those hours.
But you wouldn't punish yourself about it.
Of course, you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't, because I mean, along the way we'll talk about some of the stuff that I would do to cope, because I'm a very social person. So along the way I had to now find a way that, okay, we work hard, but just as we work hard, we need to party hard.
Play hard,
We need to relax hard. We need to take it easy hard.
Blow off some steam.
You need to have a balance basically in your life. It can't only be work. It can't only be play. It can't. There needs to be a balance. Everything has to have its time. So we're going to take another break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about Serite and Associates, and then you'll get to then give us that advice on how to manage our money.
Now it's getting cooking.
Yes. See.
I should get that one.
Boy, the honey.